Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome back to my channel. In the previous handful of videos, I feel like the topic has been pretty dark, so I wanted to share something that was very lighthearted and had a happy ending, so I do hope that you enjoy this. In today's story, Opie's been divorced from his partner for about 3 years, but they're really good at co-parenting. But then unexpectedly, they sleep together, and he comes to Reddit for advice. I also wanted to take a second and thank everybody who subscribed to my channel recently. Thank you so much, you're really helping me grow. For those of you that don't know, I have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't really have a deadline, but if you like my content and would like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. As I've mentioned before in my channel statistics, only about 20% of my viewers are subscribed. So again, if you do like the story, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Lastly, please leave a thumbs up if you like the story. Anyways, on to the story. My ex-wife and I slept together. Hey guys, this is a long post, but the details are important. My ex, who's a 47-year-old female, and I, a 45-year-old male, have been divorced for 3 years and have 2 sons, Wyatt and Jack. Our split was mainly due to our kids and the different parenting styles. My ex is a genius. She's a PhD and a research scientist while I'm an analyst. She grew up with colder parents who instilled strict routine and discipline to be successful, while I grew up with a very close relationship to my parents who encouraged forming my own path in life. These 2 backgrounds came head to head when it came to our own kids, especially when they started school. My ex wanted them completely focused on academics, while I wanted them to live a little and let them enjoy being kids and have them figure things out on their own a little. After months of fighting, we decided that it wasn't going to work. Our split was amicable, and she actually paid way more child support than she had to, but she insisted on it. We even spent Christmas and birthdays all together for the sake of our kids. Our sons primarily live with me by their own choice, and while my ex does see them about once a week, my kids are teenagers now and sometimes they want the weekends to themselves. My older one, Wyatt, has said to me that sometimes he feels like it's my ex's fault because of how hard she was on them. I try to remind them that she's still their mother and that she was doing what she believed was best, and at the very least he owes her respect. This brings us to a few days ago. Since both kids are on break, my ex tried to stop by on one of the weekdays to try and see them more. She stopped by, but both kids were out with friends for the evening. She had come all the way, so I invited her in for a drink. We were just chatting and eventually we started looking at old baby photos of our kids. We had a lot of laughs until we got to one picture. It was a picture of when my sons were 6 and 2 and I had them both up on each shoulder and the 3 of us were laughing. My ex just started sobbing out of nowhere and started apologizing to me for everything. I was really confused, but I hugged her and I told her that she only did what she thought was best and that she shouldn't apologize for trying to be an involved parent. We stayed there for a while, but neither of us wanted to let go. Eventually, she looked up at me and her look reminded me of when we were dating. We started kissing and things escalated. It was like the 12 years of our marriage came flooding back, and during it, my ex kept tearing up and telling me she loved me. She quickly left before our kids could come back, and we've been silent until today. I got a text from my ex asking if we could meet up alone to talk. What the F do I do here, guys? On one end, both my ex and I still care about each other, but on the other hand, this whole thing could be a huge shock to not only our kids, but the rest of our families as well. One Redditor commented, "I do hope that you updated. In my opinion, as the kids are pretty much raised and there was no abusive actions in the divorce, and you both still obviously have feelings for each other, I don't think that it would be detrimental to at least give it a shot, assuming the talk goes well. If the kids are having trouble, I think family therapy would be a good idea as well." To which someone else replied, "My thoughts exactly. At this point, your kids are almost self-sufficient, so I'm not sure how much disciplining and setting the rules is required. and they're at the age where it'd be difficult to make them do something that they don't want to do anyways. This is really between your ex and you. It sounds like she still has feelings for you and regrets missing out on being in the kids' lives. So give it some thought and see which way you want to go. If you're both in agreement, then there's no harm in starting to spend more time together, if that's what you both want. Regarding the kids, you can have a couple of sessions with the four of you with the counselor and sign up the kids for individual counseling as well. This will help them process their thoughts on the subject. As for the rest of your family and friends, to be blunt, why do you care? They may be shocked, but they'll get over it. Someone else replied, seriously man, the issue that was present was how kids were being raised and positions that were staunch in their approach. With the kids out of the way and the fact that the two of you care, leads me to believe that there's something present that can make the relationship work in a new perspective. I've never been one to burn buildings, and I've made an effort to get back to people that I haven't seen in years. If it takes a dark turn, then I know that I made the right call and I move on with my life. Even in relationships, I always did my best to follow my feelings and see where they ended up, since a life lesson is to learn to be vulnerable and engage people in that setting. My thoughts, if you care about her and want to pursue a relationship, then I see no reason not to, since the significant stressor is gone, and the two of you now have a chance to continue to work on a long-standing relationship. Final note, people divorce, and they also get back together again too. We're people living in a crazy world. Sometimes we make mistakes to ourselves, and sometimes we make decisions that are right for us. No one should judge you since we don't inherently know you. Hi everyone, I know it's been a little bit, but I have an update to my last post. First of all, thank you to everyone. You guys gave some great advice and really helped me prepare for the conversation with my ex. I met up with my ex 2 days after getting the text from her. I went over to her apartment and we had a great talk. About a year after the divorce, my ex actually went to see a therapist to sort of get an understanding of where her life was. As she kept going and discussing things from her childhood, she realized that she was doing the same things to our kids that her parents did to her. Things that ultimately made her resent her parents, which was why she was actually closer to my mom than her own. She teared up a bit and told me that she never stopped loving me, and that regardless of what a document says, I would always be her husband. My ex admitted that on the night the incident happened, she knew that both boys would be out, and she wanted to spend some time with me alone. When we started looking at old pictures, she just got overwhelmed. She told me how much she missed me and would do anything it took to make it up, and at the very least be partners again. I told her that I always cared about her and that I missed her too, and that I still felt something for her. At the end of the evening, we both came to terms that we still loved each other and would give it another shot. The terms were that we would take it slowly and regularly attend couples counseling, as well as to not tell the kids yet. Since then, we've been spending almost every day together, and we actually had our first counseling session. It went pretty well even after everything that happened, and my ex and I were really able to establish the grounds of our old/new relationship. We are going to be going to more sessions, but it's a good start. I actually hosted a family dinner a couple of nights ago. While our boys still don't know about us, I made the excuse that it would be good for the four of us to have a meal together. And honestly, my wife really has changed. She was more open with the kids and was more interested in hearing about things like sports, hanging out with friends, and hobbies. My kids responded really well, and for the first time in a while, our sons were enthusiastically engaged and connecting with their mom. She also planned a trip to the zoo for the four of us, like we used to do when the boys were young. I think my older one got a little suspicious and rolled with it, but the fact that we can co-parent so well has been a great cover. Things are good now, and I think deep down neither of us truly fell out of love, and I think we would have eventually found our way back to each other, regardless of what happened that night. Thank you guys again for all your kind words and support. So guys, what did you think about this? This story warmed my heart so much. I was so happy to read it, and I'm so happy for OP. Honestly, OP and his wife are amazing. It takes a lot of guts to be able to co-parent properly, and hats off to them. I'm also glad that OP's wife came to the realization that life is more than academics. In certain fields, academics do play a significant part, but when it comes to being a holistic human being, it's not a huge contributing factor. That being said, I do understand why they might have divorced in the beginning. That might have been the right thing to do for both OP and his wife at that point in time, and I'm so glad that OP grew from her experience. What did you guys think? Are you happy with this tale? I am so happy right now. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed this story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.